Japan, a country of extraordinary technological advancements, deep cultural traditions, and global influence, is now grappling with one of the most pressing challenges of our time: an aging population. With over a third of its citizens aged 65 or older and birth rates at record lows, Japan is at a crossroads. What caused this crisis, and what's being done to save the future of this remarkable nation? Understanding the aging crisis. Let's start with the numbers. Japan's population peaked at 128 million in 2008 and has been shrinking ever since. By 2025, more than 30% of the population will be 65 or older. If this trend continues, Japan's population could fall below 100 million by 2050. This demographic imbalance means fewer young workers to sustain the economy and growing pressure on social systems like pensions and health care. Japan's birth rate has dropped to just 1.3 children per woman, well below the replacement rate of 2.1. Simply put, fewer births and longer life expectancy have created a crisis that touches every corner of society. Causes of the crisis. One of the biggest culprits behind Japan's declining birth rate is its work culture. Employees often work long hours, with limited vacation time and little work-life balance. This leaves young professionals with barely enough time to think about starting families. Additionally, cultural shifts have changed priorities for many young people. More individuals are choosing to focus on careers, hobbies, or personal freedom over marriage and children. Rising living costs, expensive housing, and the high cost of raising children have also made family life less appealing. In rural areas, the problem is even more pronounced. Younger generations are leaving their hometowns to seek better job opportunities in cities, leaving behind aging communities with few resources and dwindling populations. Economic and social impacts of aging. An aging population brings significant challenges to Japan's economy. The cost of healthcare is skyrocketing, and the pension system is under immense strain. With fewer young workers contributing to these systems, the government faces tough choices about how to allocate resources. To combat labor shortages, Japan is turning to automation and robotics. From factories to elderly care homes, robots are filling the gap. While this helps maintain productivity, it also raises questions about the loss of human interaction and the long-term economic impact of over-reliance on technology. Another major impact is the decline of rural communities. As young people leave for cities, entire towns are becoming ghost towns. Schools close, businesses shut down, and the local economy collapses, creating a ripple effect that further accelerates the population decline. The government's response to the crisis. The Japanese government has launched a series of initiatives to combat the aging crisis and encourage young people to start families. Let's break down some of these efforts. Financial incentive. Parents are now eligible for cash bonuses and financial subsidies when they have children. The government also offers heavily discounted daycare services and free education programs to alleviate the financial burden of raising a family. Work-life balance policies. To address the demanding work culture, the government is encouraging companies to adopt family-friendly practices. These include shorter work weeks, mandatory paid leave, and extended parental leave for both mothers and fathers. Matchmaking services. In an effort to boost marriage rates, the government has introduced subsidized matchmaking programs. These events aim to make finding a partner less stressful and more accessible for busy professionals. Supporting rural revitalization. To counteract rural depopulation, Japan is offering incentives such as free land, housing subsidies, and relocation grants to families willing to settle in rural areas. The role of prostitution and declining intimacy. An unexpected factor intertwined with Japan's aging crisis is the role of prostitution and the broader lack of intimacy in society. While prostitution is technically illegal in Japan, loopholes allow various forms of adult services to operate openly. In Japan, social norms around intimacy have shifted. Many individuals, especially men, seek companionship and comfort through paid services rather than building long-term relationships. For some, these arrangements offer an escape from loneliness, but they also reflect a deeper issue: the declining emphasis on marriage and family life. Prostitution and similar services fill a void left by the demands of work and societal pressures. However, these fleeting interactions often come at the expense of forming meaningful, long-term relationships. Without these bonds, the motivation to marry and have children decreases further, exacerbating Japan's low birth rate. Additionally, Japan's reliance on such industries highlights the broader issue of emotional isolation. For the elderly, this often becomes a coping mechanism to combat loneliness in a society where traditional family structures are breaking down. Experts argue that addressing Japan's intimacy crisis requires promoting emotional connection and rethinking societal priorities. Encouraging open conversations about relationships, intimacy, and family life could reduce reliance on transactional relationships and foster deeper bonds. The government could also play a role by integrating relationship education into schools and offering programs to support young couples. These steps might help shift the focus back toward family building and long-term commitments, which are essential for addressing the aging crisis. The challenges of implementation. Despite these efforts, significant challenges remain. Traditional gender roles still place a disproportionate burden on women to manage both career and family responsibilities. Many women feel forced to choose between the two, which discourages larger families. In rural areas, revitalization efforts are struggling to gain traction. Young people still gravitate toward urban centers, and without significant economic investment, it's difficult to reverse the decline. The future of Japan. While Japan's aging crisis is a daunting challenge, it's not insurmountable. A focus on education, innovation, and cultural change could help turn the tide. One potential solution is increasing immigration. By welcoming skilled workers from abroad, Japan can address labor shortages and introduce new cultural perspectives. However, this would require significant changes to Japan's traditionally homogeneous society. Creating a society that values work-life balance, supports families, and provides opportunities for all generations will be key to Japan's future prosperity. Lessons for the world. Japan's aging crisis is not unique. Many other nations, like South Korea, Italy, and Germany, face similar demographic challenges. Japan's innovative solutions and cultural shifts could serve as a model or a cautionary tale for the rest of the world. Japan's aging crisis is a story of challenges and opportunities. It reminds us that addressing demographic shifts requires bold decisions, cultural change, and collaboration at every level of society. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global challenges and solutions.